that what you want? Is that why you're here? A little key jingling? And jingle keys? More? You want more key jingling? Don't get ahead of yourself. Don't get ahead of yourself. The key jingling, we're gonna have to cut you all off. Get addicted to key jingling. Some of you already are. Crazy, dude. It's ridiculous. Can't be stopped from watching key jingling videos. Specifically this one. My favorite. Sorry. I didn't mean to scare everyone with the alarm noise. I mean, I did. That's why I put it in the first part of the video. Oh. How is everyone? Audio has a white noise in the background for me. It's probably my fan. And I have a square on my face. Oh, yikes. It's the focusing square. Show focusing rectangle. There you go. Yeah, let me... I can turn it off. But then I have no air conditioning. Is that better? The audio is cloudy. Is that better if I turn it down? Trying to debug this in real time. Yeah, it's fixed because I'm muted. I fixed it because I muted myself. Yeah, but the static is gonna drive me nuts. Oh, geez. It's even worse. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, Lord. Oh, no. Okay, I think I've solved it. Because I'm actually stupid and I had my own stream open and unmuted. I think it was just literal feedback. Is that better? Check. 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 Is that better? Uh-oh. I'm in a loop now. I'm in a loop because you can hear my phone. Is that better for everyone? I'm sorry. Sometimes at the Jake Maximizer broadcast, we have some actual... Let me bring everybody back. Focus up. Focus up. Is that what you all want? Is that why you're all here? Just to watch me jingle the keys? Yeah? You like that? I hope you all like the jingling keys. Am I quiet now? Is that better? It's probably more normal. How's that? Is that better? Too quiet? Is that better? It's probably more normal. How's that? Okay. I'm actively debugging this on my phone. Oh. Glad we got that sorted out. How is everyone? You doing okay tonight? Yeah. Gonna have to get it. Is use hard coded to pay attention. Could be higher, but it's listenable. I can go higher. Is that better, Mr. Andrew? It needs to not just be listenable. It needs to be, the best viewing experience possible here at the Jake Maximizer broadcast. I made a photo album so we can go through the photo album of all the roll problem stuff. Sounds good. Love it. Love to hear it. Whole lot better. Hell yeah. Great. That is real-time debugging, man. Real-time debug. Love to hear it. That's not what we need. I joined a new gym today. Feels good. Putting some weight back on. Goal is to put some weight on before finals. I've kind of neglected the weights a little bit recently. I've been running, which is the worst way to exercise. It sucks. It's not fun. So, personal news. I went home for my mom's birthday. Had a good time hanging out with the fam yesterday. Watched the video together with the fam. I think they understood it. my biggest concern with the video is that it's not entry level, but in order to make it entry level, I would have had to make it like actually an hour long, like, and that's tough, you know, because like I want stuff to be nice and accessible, but like there are much better videos explaining the basics than what I can create. So, you know, unfortunately, it's like I can explain some of the basics, but for the most part, it's going to be applications and the way that I'm applying those principles. I can't, explain the core of stuff, which kind of sucks, but I guess it's the goal of the channel, is to just like show what principles are being applied. What's harder? Fixing live stream issues is harder. Thank you, Mr. Lean Mean. Someone else asked a question. Have you ever considered making a shuffler drive on Maximizer? Who hurt you? What's wrong with you? Have I ever considered a shuffler drive on Maximizer? What's wrong with you? Find someone to talk to, man. That's a crazy idea. I don't know how I feel about that one. Oh. All right. Let's start by, yeah, we got a bunch of people in here. Let's go. All right. Let's start by, I'm gonna pop through these comments. Is there a simple physics simulator that could show the phenomena? Okay, that was actually that was a part of it. I wanted to simulate this. That's a really good point. Lots of, like, for example, during my master's thesis, the first part of it was all sim, and then the next part was actually like applications. And so like most of the code for the robotic controls I had already written in simulation, and then it was just kind of the application of those principles. Like my MS thesis, like I kind of came up with how the control system, and I designed the control system in MATLAB, and then I like actually programmed the robot. So like that's very common, like in industry and stuff. I reached out. I'm looking through my email, which I'm not going to pull up on stream. I found one called Recurden. And I sent them an email. And I said, can I use this? And they said, how much can you pay us? And I said, none. And they did not respond to that. So that's about how that went, unfortunately. So I tried to use simulation software. Recurden. This. Which is like a I found this because it was multi-body dynamics. Like chain. I can't remember what specifically I found about this that I liked. Again, this was back in June. So like, yes, that was a 20-minute video, but like the background on it, I have been exploring this problem since finals of last year. So it's been like legitimately, what is it? September, October, November. So it's been like 9 months. So yeah, there's like a lot of stuff that is not in that story that, probably has a place in there. Would rigid body with simplified contacts work? Probably can do that, but it doesn't have flexion. Oh, flexion. Sorry, I'm stupid. Flexion. um, yeah, sorry, I'm stupid. Probably bullet can do that. Probably, but at the time when I was exploring this, it was before I contacted my old physics teacher and our former physics teacher. He's not old. And it was I was under the impression that it was the gyroscopic force. And it ended up being the reaction torque. And so there's a long stint there where like I thought it was a reaction torque and I was just kind of like following that line. So I wasn't really paying attention to rigid body sims with like simple, but that would probably work. I don't see why it wouldn't, if it can simulate momentum and stuff like that. But I don't know too much about that as well. I think this was the part that I liked about this software. Not a sponsor, by the way. Not a sponsor. They ghosted me. I can't believe it. Tire. Tire. Material handling. MATLAB. Yeah, I would show off more of my thesis project, but we're working through the patent process right now. So I had a video that was up of it, and I had to take it down because it was proprietary. So maybe I'll repost that at some point. But right now it's set to private because I can't talk about it, which is cool. All good things with that. All right, let's work through comments. This thing's going crazy. I'm really happy with the, this has been my most popular video, which is cool. Thank you all. Before anything else, thank you all. It's really cool. Really cool. Jay Lee, super nice. Jay Lee, Queen. From the analysis I've been doing with my Melty for some anti-hockey puckying tech, it's a similar effect. Oh, like when you start the, I had not thought about that. The drive motors have a ton of inertia perpendicular to the primary axis of rotation with long lever arms, because the wheels are far away from the center, so they're applying a ton of torque on the ground. I have my Team Pandemonium combat notebook. I've been taking notes in this, but I just wanted to draw that Melty structure real quick just so I can remember it, because that is interesting. So you've got two torques. So are you saying that you're I would think that when one of the motors starts, does it not cancel out the torque of the other motor because it's going in the opposite direction? Correct. So the moment your orientation changes a little bit, the wheel lifts up, you're screwed. Oh, because now you're out of plane. The drive motor. So the drive motor's starting unevenly? Because if they're starting evenly, I would think that the torques would cancel out. It does, but after it hits and landing, it doesn't have any. Oh, because one wheel's landing before the other. So then it wants to roll itself over. That's interesting. I've never seen that. You have a video of that? I should. I hate that people can't send links. I mean, it's probably a good thing that they can't send links. Thank you. I appreciate that. Here, let me make a community post, and we can share links here. Right now, keys are jingling. Wow, what a terrible community post. I didn't know it had to be a square. Roll AMA. Perfect. Okay. I was watching the NHLs. Actually, yeah, okay. Yeah, I knew there was going to be some questions about the unstick. I have my thoughts. I've relaxed, and I was very calm and very demure when I asked for that unstick. I need you to know that was the calmest I've ever requested an unstick. I've never been more relaxed cage side than calling for that. So a couple things happened. So the first thing is, I don't spin fast enough and with enough energy to be like hard stuck in the wall. For example, in the first part of this video, I get stuck in the wall. So creature comes in, I miss, and I'm stuck in the wall. What happens 99% of the time is that I can just back up, and then it pulls the blade out, and then I'm fine. So I'm in, I reverse the wheels, and then I'm back and I'm out. What unfortunately happened, and I did not realize this in the moment, because in the moment all I felt was very calm, very happy, relaxed feelings. So I was so overwhelmed with my internal peace that I did not realize this. Is Floop came in. Here she comes, ready for the unstick. I am trying desperately to get out. And what I should have done, I made two mistakes here. The first mistake I did, number one, is I should have had a blade that was better for fighting control bots and worse at getting stuck in the wall. And I will have that in the future. That is something that I should have had as a horizontal in this weight class. Because I didn't have to have the damage output that I was putting into creature. Like the wheel, I was running it at 70% speed, which is 50% power. And the disc has so much energy, like it just touches stuff and it blows it up. I didn't need that amount of energy. Okay. So number one, the first thing I should have done was control bar that is lighter weight so I can maneuver better. Lighter weight so that I can put more weight into forks. And then on top of that, has a negative rake angle, so it just kind of bounces off the walls and doesn't do as much damage, but doesn't get stuck in the wall. That was the first mistake I made. The second mistake I made was I turned away from Floop here, and I tried to get back, but then when Floop makes contact, the poor girl pushes my forks into the wall. Okay, it was over here. This is like everything that happened after that just kind of happened. It was over as soon as my forks went in the wall, because now I was in the position where let me grab my coloring book. Oh my God. Why can't I? Okay, hang on. Hold, please hold. Let me grab my crayons. Okay. If in this moment, so from this is the first time Floop has touched me, okay? From the moment Floop touched me, if I went this way, my blade would have gone deeper. If Floop pushed me this way, my forks would have gone deeper in the wall. As soon as this happened and I didn't face Floop kind of in the right way, yeah, I was screwed. So everything that happened after that is kind of not consequential. Like to getting unstuck from the wall, but that's when it was over. And so that just kind of sucks. Like I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, that was awesome. Like that was super fun to live through. But it wasn't exactly my blade that was stuck in the wall. It was a combination of the blade and the forks. So yeah, it sucks. And it's a suck way to go out, especially with how much work this revision of Maximizer kind of took. And so like my emotion cage side was like the amount of work that figuring out the roll problem had taken. Because like I didn't talk about the roll problem before today or before Saturday because I legitimately did not know if it was going to work. So this was kind of my emotion cage side was a culmination of that and this little bit of frustration here. So what are my thoughts? Oh, I made a third mistake. Sorry, I forgot this. Third mistake is I called the unstick. If you watch the cage side cam, as soon as we go in the wall, and you can't see it from this angle, as soon as I went in the wall, I called for the unstick to Korea, who was on the corner, and she relayed that to the refs immediately. I called it immediately because I didn't want Creature to score the pin. I thought if I was here, then Floop would come in, break up this pin, and then they wouldn't get the points for it. So I kind of called it prematurely. What I should have done is I should have been a little bit more demure, a little bit more relaxed, and I should have left, or I should have let them score this pin, and then I should have attempted to get out until the countdown timer was like at 3, then called for the unstick. And then, because then maybe I would have had the chance to get out on my own, which is likely, given how hard I hit the wall. Comparatively, I hit the wall much harder here. Like, that's a hard hit into the wall. And I'm out. Compared to he didn't even throw me into the wall. I kind of threw myself in. See, because I kind of bounced off. So comparatively, I was not as hard stuck as so my point is I should have given it a good college try to get out, just to use up the clock, because I have a feeling if this would have gone to the judges, I would have had the opportunity to win the fight. I might not have won it, but I had the opportunity to win, as opposed to being stuck in the wall, which I have no opportunity of winning. So I should have waited for the 10 count. And I should have tried to get out. And then I should have called for the unstick if I couldn't get out. And then I should have faced the house bot. And then I probably would have made it out in that case. So I think there's 3 errors. I think not designing for it, which happens. I think number 2 was just like, and sometimes you need to be honest with yourself and be like, that was just really unlucky. So like, Floop pushing my forks into the wall, that's just like generally just, that's unlucky. I mean, that happens. So like, yeah, design and learn from mistakes, but understand that there is an element of luck. I mean, for example, I was stuck in the wall in a position where my forks could hit the corner. If I was 3 inches to the left, I would have made it out because my forks wouldn't have been stuck in the corner. So it's like, you know, I'm trying to give myself some on a personal note, a little personal grace and not be too beat myself over the head with solutions. Cause I do on a personal note tend to do that. And then the third thing is just, cage side time management. And that's just an experience thing and I'll get better with that. Oh, all right. Moving on. This is as most as I want to talk about this because it wasn't fun. It was not a fun experience. So I hope everyone is satisfied with that. I get that it's an AMA and I'll answer near anything. But as far as reliving that, I kind of don't want to right now. I kind of just want to talk about maximizer roll mechanics. All right. From Older Show It. Thank you. I appreciate it. You know, I am very grateful to be, surrounded by people who value deep thinking about problems and being able to think deeply about problems and enjoy the process. Thank you, Justin. What kind of roll is maximizer? Buttered. A buttered roll. A buttered roll. Sushi roll. Hey! Bazushi. All right. Let's read some more comments. Let me get some water in me. It was kind of a long yap session about that. Let me go get some water. Hydrate up. Dump some questions, and you will receive answers. That's an AMA. Oh. Oh. Favorite lockdown tape? Let me still see if I have not Shopify, Spotify. Do I still have the playlist saved? Anyone else in chat playing Lockdown Protocol? Maybe we have to have a Lockdown Protocol stream. That would be fun. Yeah, here we go. Oh my gosh. Worship and Karma are great. Karma's a banger. Karma's crazy. Why did I do Bob like that? I feel so bad. What material are my bevel gears made out of? So initially I got them made in 4140. Hardened to... I can pull up the print. Hardened to something. I got them quoted in 4140. I had them made in 4140 because they were like $70. I think it was M15. Yeah, here we go. V pulley. Oh, this was the old 2-part one. Initially, when I had it designed in 2 parts because I thought I might want to switch this out, and it was just kind of complicated. And I was like, it's much easier to change the one in the tail than this one. So when I did Rev C, I had them made as one piece. I had them hardened to 40, which is like kind of typical for gears from what I read at the time. I think Triton used something similar in their bevel gear setup, and I think I pulled off of that. The spur is harder than this because this is easier to replace. And then after I had these, they were pretty heavy, still pretty heavy. So I said I had some money, and with money you can solve any problem. Fun lesson. And I had them quoted in titanium, and those ended up being 110 a piece, which is like expensive, but it's not horrible. And so like that was at a point where I was like ranking changes that I could make based on like, I did a cost per gram analysis, and that one was like pretty good with how much weight I would save. So now they're tie, which is ridiculous. It's just, I'm just flexing with that. But the tie has been fine. The tie is like 30 HRC. There might be a little bit of wear, but I'm running it for 3 minutes at a time. I'm trying to see if I have a picture of it. Let me go see. Ugh. Yeah, they look. Sorry, I just looked at the one on the robot, and yeah, it looks new. With the newer motor orientation, have you reconsidered the twisted belt idea? Yeah, twisting the belt. Well, this is really cursed. And it was kind of hard to see on the video, but to get the motor below, like lower in the chassis, I took the whole thing and I threw it on an angle. So the belt is already chilling at like, what angle is this? It's really cursed. It's super cursed. The whole bot it's angled by 3 degrees. So this whole, like all this mounting in here, like when I machined that, I had to do it with like the sculpt or like adaptive sculpt path or whatever, because this is all at a 3 degree angle, which is funny. But it pushed this lower in the chassis by like, I mean, the chassis is 50 millimeters. So 4 millimeters lower, it's like 8% lower, which is like a pretty decent, 8% is a pretty decent change. So it's already kind of twisted, considering it's running at like 3 degrees. I don't know how good that is for it. I didn't notice a problem, but I'm a little concerned about it. We'll see. I like that you have telemetry of the power usage. Yeah, that's new. I finally remembered to clear the data logging on the Mamba X. No, I do not have any sort of positional telemetry. That would be funny, though. Reverse the weapon to try to unstick it. I don't have enough torque with the bevel gear. How was your day? Thank you. No one ever asked. I had a good day today. I signed up for a new gym, so I need to put some muscle back on before finals, if we're being real. Last week was tough. Week after competition is always tough, but today was good because it's the week after competition. Also, just to do the napkin math for certain effects, I was surprised at how big the inertia is with the bevel setup. Yeah. Like and just like exploring, like, you know, I can't tell you how many. Let me pull up my sketchbook for this project. This is my second one that's a little bit more cleaned up, but like this is just me like playing around with arrows, like, and just drawing arrows on stuff that's happening, and trying to find a trying to make sense of this mess. And you know, in the beginning, this was helpful as well. In the beginning, it was like trying to figure out which forces were important, and then which forces were kind of a bit more negligible. So like for a long time, I thought it was gyroscopic precession on the motor itself. But when, you know, I did the angular momentum for this, it's like nothing. I mean, 21 compared to the bot itself is like 4,000. So it's like just doing that little bit of math like guided the problem in a more productive direction, because it's like 21 over what's 21 over 4,000? It's like 1% or something, right? Yeah, 0.5%. So it's like, okay, is 0.5% affecting this or no? So it's, you know, it's more likely something else, which is cool. So yeah, never be afraid to just like, I mean, trying stuff out on paper it's free. Paper is, and pens are really inexpensive, and mistakes in physics are really expensive. So, you know, there's no shame in just writing stuff down and seeing where that takes you, because it might take you someplace different, dude. I never expected it to be the counter torque on the motor. That was, I 100% Mystery Wrath called that, but he called that after kind of, he called that after doing the same thing that I'm doing here, which is just, you know, right hand rule, and seeing where we get us. All right, it is really hot in here. I'm gonna go kick my AC unit back on. Please let me know if there's too much static though. So I'm gonna live demo this. We're gonna give this a shot. So many curls. What is Maxicopter? Dude, Maxicopter? You're not allowed to ask questions like that. I get it's an AMA, but you're not allowed to ask what Maxicopter is. That's like strictly classified. Does that sound okay? I'm not trying to freak you guys out, but it is 80 degrees in here right now. All right. Where were we? What are your thoughts on thermal tape, more tape versus less tape conversation? I don't know, because I was disappointed. I wanted more fire. I wanted more fire, and there wasn't a lot of fire, and I think Mr. Reinhardt was upset with the amount of fire as well, obviously. We were both upset at the extreme. I mean, look how excited I am for the fire. I spent like hours taping up, getting ready for this thing. I was so excited for fire, dude. I was trying hard, and there was very little fire. So, more tape, less tape, I have no idea. And when there was fire, I got scared. I'm not gonna lie. There was fire, and look, I am out of there. As soon as it lights up, boom! Look at that. First off, reaction time. You like that? That is, look at the reaction time on that. I mean, that is, I was watching that thing. But then I killed the other wheel. I remember Matt saying something like, green wheel's still spinning. And I'm like, okay, bet. And then I come in here and I just pop it in real gentle and I seize it up. So more tape, less tape. I don't know. I don't know. Have you thought about using an IMU to your bots and using PID control for steering? Yeah, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. I have Gannon, Joey Gannon has something like that in his horizontal, and it's really cool. It's really cool. But I mean, here's the deal. Like, an IMU is only, providing feedback. It's not like, gonna. The problem with the torque and the motor counter torque is so fundamental. It's like no amount of like steering correction was correcting for how violent it was spinning the robot. I mean, if you look at some of the clips from against King Size, I mean, it's like I'm over. If I was rolling, there was no amount of input that I could do to prevent that from happening. You mentioned from by adding angular momentum. What are your favorite other gimmicks, optimizations that people design for within the archetype? Oh my gosh, someone posted. There was an ant weight poster, which I rarely venture to the ant weight channel. Oh my gosh, the wedge on it was amazing. It was the coolest wedge. I legitimately might steal it because I need to do. I'm still on my Gen 2 armor from August of last year, and it's just like I could run it for another 2 years with the amount of damage that I've taken on it, dependent on who I fight. But the geometry on it is a little outdated. Just like there's things that I've noticed that is just like not the best about it. I have streamer mode, but I'm looking through Discord right now. But it was this wedge is disgusting. It's gross. Yeah, this thing. It's just a very cool shape. And I like that it ramps up and away from the wheels. Like it's just like a very effective shape because it's down to the ground. Like something with my wedge is that because it's folded back, it's not down to the ground. Mine is kind of flat and then it comes up on the side. I like that this is like locked down to the ground from all angles. A lot of what I've noticed is that this front is pretty inconsequential, and 99% of the time you're taking hits on your side. So that's something that's outdated about my current armor set that I like to fix. Keys, I hate that. What is maximum? Oh my gosh. Sorry, I've fallen totally behind. So many curls. Curse. Transfer before angle T, 50 pounds of downforce. Thank you. Franklin, my beloved. counter rotating horizontals on a Thagbot be? Isn't that what Team Panic made? He has 2 verts on a Thag or something like that. Do you think a level of asymmetry with the plow could help with the rolling over? Certainly an idea, chatter. Perhaps. Perhaps. Nothing will be symmetrical. When the bot is done, nothing will be symmetrical. Nothing. Everything will be side preferenced. Absolutely nothing. If it's symmetrical, it's not good. Everything is side preferential. It is funny that this tail, if you see it in real life, it's actually disappointing. Like, the only time you can notice that it is asym is like from the top, because your brain just kind of gets tricked. Because like when you look at it, it's like you're looking at it from one side, like this, where you're looking at it from one side to the other. So your brain is just kind of like, oh, like it doesn't look asymmetrical in real life. Like when it's fighting, like this doesn't look asymmetrical until, you know, I freeze frame it. Or like this. Yes. Like that doesn't look asym because you're looking at it from the side. But that does. Like but I intentionally, you know, did this photo just to show off like that was the design. But like this, you know, you can't hardly tell. Which makes me kind of sad. Maybe I need to like design the armor package just to like accentuate it a little bit more. It reminds me of, geez, there was this physicist who was working on a problem with asymmetric wings on aircraft, and they're like more efficient. I thought I was bugging. Bugging. Yeah, so okay, so the belt path, that's like knocked down by 3 degrees, and then like the actual angle, like this, the ZZ plane angle is that 8 degrees, right? 180 minus 720. Yeah, right? I'm not dumb. Yeah, 82 degrees. Yeah. 8 degrees. 8 degrees of offset. And all that does is push. All that is doing is pushing this to the side. It's purely for packaging. It pushes this to the side by 25. This is still centered. Like the blade point is still centered. And it pushes this to the side so that the belt can still clear when it's at that angle. I couldn't make this 90 degrees without taking out like a ton of material from here and here, which already gets a lot of flex. Like if you look at this picture of Creature, this is like, I mean, this is the wheels are still on the ground. Like this is still on the ground, and then this is up by like an inch. So this area is already experiencing a lot of like vertical flex, which is fine. But it's a bit much. Seeing this makes me afraid, which I mean, if you watch this Impact in full speed, you're like, oh yeah, that's, you know, whatever. But then when you watch it in the slow-mo, you're like, oh, the entire chassis of the robot flexed by like an inch. And it just lands. How much of your parts do you machine yourself? More than others. It is purely a effect of how much time I have and how much I want to dedicate to how expensive it is to get made overseas. And then I have a lot of access, which is nice. It's just if my time allows for it, which I'm unemployed right now. So I have plenty of time to make stupid robot parts. So this version, I made a lot of parts. So like these like I had made in China because they were $30 a piece. And like, this is a 2-op part for me. Like this is easily like 8 hours for me, like for 3 of these. Like between the design, doing the cam. So like that was worth it. And then I just had it made undersized. And then I this is me reaming it to size. But like these, like I decided I wanted these like right before the competition. So I machined these right before the competition. That was just kind of a thing. Sedona, really leaning on that UHMW ductility. I'll duck your utility. This one's such a fun one. Oh, I can order a canvas print of this. Oh my god. That's not that bad. Look, 20% off too. Oh, I was going to show off Maxicopter. This meme gimmick weapon. It's still right here next to my desk. My beautiful, beautiful boy. My beautiful Maxicopter. It only cost me like $150 to spin it up once because I burned up the motor. And look, the cleats dug into it, so it's like shredded. It's my beloved Maxicopter. These aren't even look, this is these aren't even like made. These are the same plate of steel that I cut in half. They're not even like purpose made. I just took a plate of steel and cut it long ways. That way it you know. How big of a motor would it take to get Maxicopter to actually work? I don't know, because I don't know how much MOI it is. That's a great question. And I mean, what is your target? Because right now, the problem is not the motor. The problem is that it's geared for 4,000 miles an hour, which is not something that motors can do. That's the problem. The problem is not the motor. The problem is the gearing. because it's the tip speed. It's like freaking 4 feet long. I think it's I hope it's bigger than Mammoth's weapon. Maxicopter is the closest that's ever come to flying. I have somewhere in here. Oh, here we go. Weapons. Yeah, so like, yeah, this is the problem. Is that instead of 9.5, it's 48. Yeah, it's geared for 1,000 miles an hour. So that's dumb. How does maximizer blade on top configuration work? Not well. When you spin the bot the same direction as the weapon for attacks. No, not anymore. Not anymore. Because now I can turn both directions instead of just one direction. Twice as dangerous, dude. One of the sides, and this is something that I learned like very early from Sean, is that when you swing with one side, it'll cut in. And this is what the cut side does. So this is Blue Marlin's TPU. And it just melts its way through. It's fun. The cut side is fun. It puts a lot of energy very quickly into an opponent. That is the side that I prefer. It is not the side. This is what the cut side did to creature's armor. It snapped this off. Say hi to Korea. So like, that's what the cut side is capable of. The push side does this. And this is gross. This is not fair. So you see how it makes contact here? And instead of the blade cutting and digging in, which is on this side, it pushes. So this went up his wedge, hit it, and pushed it away. Merch t-shirts. Oh my gosh. I have just the largest sizes for the large Maximizer fans, which there's less of than small ones, I guess, because the small ones sold out instantly, and I feel really bad about it. I kind of underestimated how large you all were, which is I'm sorry about that. That's not. So there are t-shirts, but they're all very large. They are in stock though. But it's like the XLs and the 2XLs and stuff. Oh, all right. I've worked through. We've been streaming for 77 minutes, and I've made it through 3 comments. So, but I appreciate it. What is my strategy for fighting Junkernaut at finals? Junkernaut has never won a fight. It's only the other bot has only lost. So, I guess I'll just lose. That's what I'll do. Junkernaut, my beautiful boy. What even is Blue Marlin? Blue Marlin? We are all Blue Marlin fans in this house. I'm curious if you thought of it to rotate the motor before. Yeah, rotate the motor 35 degrees. No, because sort of. But the turning the motor was a design change that I made after the theory that it was simply the motor torque. So that was, kind of the question, or, that was the response to that, if that makes sense. I have my light set to white right now. Let me... It's just making me look... It's making me look pale, dude. Oh, and I have my... Maybe this will look good. Hang on. I have my fake... Ow. Sorry. That's Magicopter. It's still chilling on the floor. Oh. I have my fake sunset lamp to calm me down. Oh, yeah, that does look good. Cool. Yeah, that looks fine. Oh, kind of relaxes me. Why not make Max a beetle? It's because I'm dumping. It's because I spent 6 months looking at lines on Inkscape. This is why. This is why I don't have a beetle. Does anybody know why Hooligan smoked out at September? Because my boy Loim hit it. It was such a good fight. Are you talking about the finals? This is gross. If anyone wants to know the grossest way to drive a horizontal, this is it. This fight was disgusting. Let me... Can I make this... This was gross. I'm playing this on stream because this is disgusting. This is the nastiest I've ever seen a horizontal driven ever. Look at this. Catches the inside of the upright. He's down a drive side. And he cannot turn faster than Liam moving. Self-rights himself. Look at that. This is gross. Being cage side for this was amazing. Because it was so raw. Look at this. What do you even do about that? Talk about box control. This is box control. Because Hooligan can go a total of this area here, and Buzzkill owns all of this. This is what box... When I said box control in the video, this is what I was talking about. The shark circle is disgusting. This is gross. That is weird how that's smoked out. I would imagine the upright is bent and then the motor's just pulling a ton of amps and then it just kills itself here. It looks like it ingests something though. That's weird. Yeah, look at that. But it was probably more likely just motor death. I mean, that's what a motor looks like when it gives up. I would imagine that the upright seized it. And then this is look, he had his hands off the controller. Oh my gosh. Ugh. The shark circle, dude. Yes, gross is being a good term. Yes. Yes. Good thing. Flamethrower config or something. I do not wish to raise the price of butane. I am a raise the price of butane. Oh, jeez. Loin. Yes, gross is a good term here. How would I fight a monkfish in the 12-pound class? Wedge. You want keys again? You guys haven't been fed your keys. Stay with me. Stay with me. Focus up. Key time. Key time. Key time. Key time. Lloyd. All right. What else we got? All right. Let's actually work through these comments like I said I was going to do. Oh, this is the script. Could you reverse the weapon for better self-right? It's a lot to think about in terms of like in the middle of a fight. Oh, I need to reverse my weapon. Like the goal of all of these changes was to add, I mean, the other option was I add a servo to the front of the wedge that just kind of rolls it over like long ways and just kind of tumps it over stupidly. The goal of this was no new parts. Like, I already needed a new tail because the bore, I have these bore retention plates now. But the goal was not to increase the mechanical complexity of the robot. This is no more mechanically complex than the previous iteration. I didn't increase the part count. I did not increase the controls system complexity. It was the same parts in a different place. So that's why I gravitated to this solution over popping a servo in the front, which I could have done. I started scrolling reels. I called out. Yeah, that's right. Come back. Yeah. Focus up. And the video's a stem board too. So if you ever need to stem, if you click any of the chapters, it'll This is planning. Doing this, it takes planning, okay? Building a stem board into your video, that's planning. I did it the day the video came out, so don't. That's planning. What about you input that automatically reverse the motor? I mean, yeah, but yes. Yeah, I mean, there are, again, for every problem, there are infinite solutions. Like, that's true. And no solution is, like, absolute. Again, like, solutions are either 0% effective or 100% effective. Not or. Solutions can be anywhere from 0 to 100% effective. And the question was, like, where does this solution fall? You know, given no new parts, where does this solution fall? And I knew I could do it. I realized I could do it in June at Teams because it was biased to fall on one side. So if it, my logic was, well, if it's like during the king size fight, like, this is ridiculous. If it's biased to go upside down, I can bias it to be right side up. And, like, that's a risk, like, assuming that you can do that or, like, that's possible. But, like, I felt as if I had enough data, judging by this fight and the Zupacabra fight, that it was logical enough to say that it was possible. And that's, I've been observing this fact since November, but I didn't realize that it could turn into something greater until June. So, like, understand that all of this, like, takes time and it takes thought, and, like, it's not just like a thing that happened, but it's more than that. So yes, and I am sorry, the original question. Focus, lock in, focus. Oh my God, focus. An IMU input that automatically reversed the motor. That would simply reverse the direction that I would roll about. That's why I didn't want to do that. Because I considered, reversing the motor in the frame, but that would just reverse the rotation. It wouldn't eliminate or reduce the effect. So that's why I didn't go in that direction. I hope that answers your question. I apologize for the rant. And in the future, I'll focus up more, and I'll jingle more keys, and I'll be more attentive to answering the question. All right. Man, we've made it through no comments. 90 minutes in. I appreciate all your kind comments. I do appreciate that. Unsticking. The V-belt can't apply enough torque to unstick me. So, for example, I don't want to go back to the creature thing. I answered all my questions I think, on the creature thing, and getting stuck there. It was a bad situation, but the V-belt, because the V-belt slips, it can't apply enough torque to do that. To answer your question. All right. Maximizer is one of my favorite bots, seeing you upside down. Now, this may be a dumb idea. There is no such thing. Pelly. There's chatter. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as a bad idea. Dumb idea. Sorry. Why does my kitchen not have a ceiling? Dude. I just moved into a new apartment. I like it a lot. There is no ceiling in the kitchen, though. Relax. It's a loft. It's a loft. And that's the top of the loft. Trying to figure out where I live, man. Just relax, okay? Sometimes you don't need a ceiling for your kitchen, okay? And yes, my new apartment is awesome. I built this trophy shelf behind me. Thank you. It's not a set. It's where I live. But set, yeah, that's, yeah, sure. Set. Yeah. Cooking in the rain. Man, I don't live outside, dude. There's a roof over. This is not, oh, jeez. This is not the ceiling. Like there's more of, it's a loft, dude. Relax. Slipping V-belt. Yeah, but the V-belt, when it's stuck in the wall, Tucker, shut up. This is a crazy streaming room. Yeah, this is where I live. No. Tucker, you've been to my apartment. No, there's another ceiling above this. Why are we talking? This stream is about complex angular mechanics, and we're asking about my ceiling. This is crazy. This is off the rails. No, there's another ceiling above this. I'm not cooking in the rain, okay? This is merely an unfinished loft, okay? And it's like that for aesthetic, and also because it's less expensive for the landlord to make. So, okay? Relax. It's an aesthetic or something. I don't know. That's what they told me when I toured. And I am a sucker. Focus. Focus. We're not talking about my ceiling. Medicine cabinet tour? When did I have... Dude, did I have my... In what part of the sequence can... This is my bedside table, which is a mess. I have 2 cups here. That is the most... And then this is trophy shelf. Workbench. Stuff I haven't unpacked from Norwalk because I'm lazy. There's no... What do you... Medicine cabinet? Like, this is my toaster, dude. Medicine, there's no medicine cabinet, dude. Oh, why are we talking about my ceiling? This is, when I said AMA, I meant topic related. Oh my God. I'm not actually mad, guys. I'm not actually mad. All right. It's all much better putting my blade in the middle and hinging everything like original Sin's wedgelets so that both sides are down. Yeah. Putting the blade in the middle is hard with the UHMW. That's The UHMW needs a lot of mass to be effective. A lot of, a lot of continuous mass to be effective. So dividing it into two pieces and putting the blade in the middle, obviously when I first, the robot is quite similar to when I first built it. Everything has changed on it, but the construction is still, I have wedges from the original Maximizer that I could throw on this chassis. It's all back compatible. For example, like that old tail, same hole pattern. But that construction method was so that I could get the UHMW in the center and then have a thicker mass for the weapon to go through. Excuse me. Materials other than UHMW? Yeah, the huge team uses HDP for some stuff. I've heard and I've read. It's just the UHMW. I keep making it thinner and thinner, and it just won't break. Eventually, I'm gonna make it so thin that it snaps, and then I'll go, back from that. But for now, if I weigh my tails, they've gotten, you can see behind me that my tails have gotten like the OG black one was pretty thin but I saw it and I got concerned. So we made the white one, the one in the center over here. And that's a thick boy. That's heavy. The UHMW has gotten so much thinner since the OG tails. So, yeah, it's just very good. I do not have a test cage. That is the hardest part. There were months where I was working on this problem where it was like, I have so many things that I'd like to try that I can't. So not having a practice cage where I can fire it up, weapon on, and just play with angular mechanics, maybe I would be further along on this problem. Straight up. And maybe next year I try something out that completely changes the dynamics. And that's part of engineering and part of, you're limited by how many chances you get. And I'm considering going to October Norwalk just to hang out. I might bring it with some test configs just to see if I can explore the effect a little bit more. I know, Brandon. I want to come fight at the Hive all the time. The jingling is killing me. Yeah. Lock in. Thank you. I am trying to make it more accessible. I'm sorry that that is my biggest gripe with my own video. Is that it's less about the basics. And maybe I need to just go through and find some physics videos and just link them, so you can pre-watch and understand everything. I feel like, excuse me, I'm sorry. I feel like the motor placement should make a difference, but not as much as being parallel or perpendicular to the frame itself. I agree that angling it somewhat should make a difference, especially if I want to be torque. I don't think it's as simple as a 45-degree in CAD to find what works. Man, it does work. What do you mean find what works? I hope it works. It at least works partially. Yeah. Yeah, I feel you. I wouldn't watch a video in order to watch a video and have it make sense. Yeah, no, I feel you. It's don't worry. I'm self-critiquing right now. No, it is unfortunate. I don't think it's as simple as 40-degree angle in CAD. Yeah, it is that simple. Yeah, you turn this by 25 degrees, and then you're getting less torque about the, because the origin of the torque is right here, where it meets the, oops. Uh-oh, my sketchbook just crashed. Nice. Oh, okay, we're good. We're back. Yeah, it is that simple. So, yeah, the origin of this torque, exists right where this motor meets the frame. And effectively, how you want to think about this is what axis is in the cross-sectional plane to the motor, and how that and the moment of inertia about that cross-sectional plane. So here, the cross-sectional plane is this. So to a certain degree, yeah, the chassis is still experiencing the same level of torque, but it's along this cross-sectional plane. Okay. And the moment of inertia about this cross-sectional plane is much higher than about this cross-sectional plane. Right? Because this is the short axis, or the first principal axis, because it's the smallest, or it might be the third. I don't stand by anything I'm saying in this stream because I can't check my own work. When does all this get built to the point I can test it in the real world? Dude's late to the party. Dude is late to the party. I'm sorry, chatter. Bad news. I have tested it in the real world. Or good news, depending on how excited you are about this. Go close out of the stream and go watch the most recent video. Then come back. Okay, so I don't think it's as simple as 45-degree angle. Yes, so to be fair, yes, the motor's still producing the same amount of counter torque. What's different is the axis that it's aligned on, and how that torque is applied to the wheels, because the wheels are what is keeping the robot on the ground. And when you reduce the this is not a good diagram. This is a good diagram. You're getting a normal force here, right? And then you're getting the torque of the motor. When the torque of the motor is greater than the reaction torque and the normal force on the wheel, it will roll. Oh, no, hang on. Let me back up. If it's pivoting about this wheel, okay, this is our pivot point. These forces are not eliciting a torque. The only thing that's eliciting a torque is mg here, okay, and this normal force here. If this torque of the motor is greater than mg, then it will roll. So what this reduces is this plane, this cross-sectional plane's torque. It reduces it by 58% because it's, the sine of 25, which is 0.42. So it is that. I'm not sure what you mean by this. but it is that simple as turning this. And I demonstrated that when I here, where is it? It's in the video, dude. Yeah, here we go. Look, I turn it, and then now instead of twisting, it's more bucking. You know, it's gonna roll about this axis. You know, bucking back and forth. So having this like this is better because this is a longer, this has a longer moment of inertia, a higher moment of inertia. What would it made it a mid cutter, making it upside down less awful? Yes, that would be very cool. That involves making the shaft shorter, which it's already pretty stubby. The hard part is like to make this go down further. To make this point further down when I'm upside down, I have to, I have to drop this point down here. And that also means I need a bigger wedge in the front. So it's kind of, it's already fairly low. It's not crazy high, but it's high enough that it's a problem. Okay. What's some more questions? I'm yapping. Undercutters are better for wedges and wedgeless. They transfer more energies to this opponent. The biggest thing for me is being so much better weapon on weapon. Because when the blade's lower to the ground, it's going to take the weapon on weapon impact better. It's going to smack that weapon when the vert blade is in a more horizontal plane. That's the biggest thing. And when it's upside down, it gets undercut and gets the vertical punch. So yeah, in my opinion, having that low is the most about like not losing weapon to weapon. For a lot of people, it's like getting underneath other bots too, but that's kind of not my goal. My goal isn't to get underneath you. It's to blast through your side and get to you that way. All right. The motor should be placed over if nothing else, it makes your robot more bottom heavy. Yeah, that's a good point. Moving the motor down does move the center of mass down. It's not a lot though. It's not as significant as you would think. So that is actually something that I wanted to look about. This CAD is wrong. It's not amazingly accurate. But right now we're at a Z position of 13.2 millimeters. If I take this, I saw that comment and I immediately wanted to do this, by the way. And let me move this up by, I moved it down by 4. So let's move it up by 5. So now it's at the same height that it was. Now it's at 13.25. Was it at 13.25? Yeah, that didn't change anything. Hang on. I think I need to capture the position. Capture position. Either that or it literally did not change it. Okay, 13.523. So it moved at 0.01 millimeter. So it doesn't weigh enough to really affect it. But I did read that comment and I thought, hey, that's a pretty good point. Yeah. Yeah, so it moved it by 0.001, right? Am I tripping? Am I tripping? Oh, no. 0.25. Wait. I'm Sorry, I'm on stream, so I'm nervous about math. 1352 versus... Sorry, those numbers confused the hell out of me because they were reversed. 1352, 1325. It moved it by 0.27. 0.3 millimeters. So, but that's not what's important about this number. What's important about this number is that it's still on this side. The wheels are 82 millimeters. Yeah, but that's not distance to center of mass. Hang on. Hold. Please hold. Shoop. Shoop. Crashing. I'm guessing you've been asked it before, but what are the ups and downs of making this a hub motor? Hub motor is a really cool idea. Hub motor is a cool idea. The problem is weight at the tail. It adds a lot of weight to the tail. Hub motors would be a very cool concept for this robot. And they're getting more and more robust in the 12-pound class. As more, there's been some that have come out and just sucked, and then there's some that we're starting to see them get pretty good. Okay, so sorry, the wheelbase to my origin is 20.95 plus that 13.25. So we're at, roughly 44 millimeters about. Right? No. 34. Sorry. 34. Which is still below the wheelbase by, a decent amount. 34 over 82. You're at 40% on the wheelbase, like from the wheelbase to the center of mass. So it's like it's it's the ideal center of mass just behind the wheels. It depends on what you're going for. Mr. Farkas. Hi, good to see you. Dude, watch the VOD. There'll be a VOD after this. I hope it's entertaining. Do you happen to know the overall percentage that the cleats add? Yes, I do. So, yes, that's a very good question. Back in right after I finished my MS, I built a friction testing platform for fun, because that's what I do. So, what this thing is a scale this is a bathroom scale test on steroids, and I can clamp down a piece of wood and I can push into it. And what I found was the pushing force with wheels was about 12 pounds of force, which is pretty good. I mean, 1-to-1 ratio is pretty good. That was with a 30A hardness urethane. I threw cleats on, and this was with the old 26-to-1 gearboxes, so big reduction, and the old motors. And I pushed into this thing, and the output was 100 pounds with cleats. It was crazy. This whole, here, let me see if I can find the video in Discord, because it was funny. Has media from Jake. From video in 12-pound. So many people post videos in here. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, I smoked a motor. I pushed into this. It jammed. It jammed itself in, and then yeah, here we go. So the cleats like lock themselves in, and it flexes this entire plate. It output 100 pounds on the computer, like 85 to 100 pounds. And then I smoked a motor. The problem is that I have two. Oh shit! Sorry. The problem is I have two 50-pound scales on here, so it could have been higher. It could have been much higher. And I have no way of reading it. The problem is that was ridiculous. You don't need that much pushing force. The problem is twofold. The more realistically, the cleats are moving. Like, my goal with building that platform was actually to test cleat profiles. And this is kind of the numbers that I got out of it. No, review these files. That's ridiculous. You don't need to push 100 pounds. What I found in doing that was that my cleat profile was fine. It was capable of doing that. But the cleats weren't getting the chance to engage. So in September, I used a much lower tooth count on my wheels. I actually went down to 4. I know that might be hard to see, but I only have 4 teeth on these wheels. And that makes them engage way harder. It wasn't driving perfect on Saturday. It was driving good, and the gyro was good. It was very controllable. The stick out of my teeth was a little shallow. I wish they were a little bit more. And I'm thinking that way because after watching videos, the robot's not bumpy at all. Like, it was like smooth. Like, the cleats were engaging fully into the floor, to the point where I could have gotten more. You know, I'm of the opinion that it should be a little bit bumpy to drive, just so that you know that the cleats are kind of bottoming out. And like, if you watch the videos from like the Blue Marlin fight and stuff, it's just like, I mean, yes, obviously when I broke my weapon, like, that was bumpy, but like this, like, it's kind of driving too smooth. So yeah, see how it's like not bumping at all? It sounds counterintuitive, but like, it's kind of a bad thing that it wasn't doing that. But I'm very happy with my cleat profile. I just think it needs, they need a little bit more teeth. Or not teeth. Length of tooth needs to increase. The other thing that I did is this is the snake bites that I was running. So it's like 2 that are really close together. And I think this will become more common as I split the tooth like that. And what this does is it allows for one of the teeth to engage fully before this one engages. And that's why it was driving so much smoother, is because I only had one tooth engaging at a time instead of both engaging kind of all at once. Because like what I was seeing, like when I was looking at slow motion video and stuff, was this front tooth was engaging. And then, so yeah, it was pulling a lot out of wood. And then this one was camming it out. So it was just like pushing it out before it could like make it all the way through. So yeah, I think this profile, now that I've tested it and I've kind of posted it a little bit, I think it'll be a little bit more common. I think other people might try this out. Yeah, here's this. This isn't in slow-mo, but this is with the cleats. And it's just kind of, it's more bouncy because again, one is camming it out while the other one pushes it. So that was an idea when I read some comments in the Norwalk Discord. But again, I was on 8 teeth. Like, this is 8 teeth, and So yeah, they just weren't getting as efficient of an engagement. So I went down to 4, and I also dropped the amount of torque that I could create. So I went from the Badass 2315 26 to 1, and I went to a Tempest 2808 at 16 to 1, which is more in line with the class. And this is more in line with what I need to make, what I need to get out of my drivetrain in order to get my peak push force of 40 pounds, which is my target. And that's based on a 0.2 second tail whip speed. So it's like, theoretically, I want my drivetrain capable of that. Any losses are due to the cleat profile or the traction or something like that. So like, it's very much like built for the theoretical minimum. And then like, I'm trying to like the limiting factor right now is that traction. But what I learned from building that platform that I did not expect to learn is that the profile itself is fine. It just, the tooth needs the chance to engage before it gets cammed out by something else. What state am I located in? Despair. So thank you. I appreciate it. All objects have 3-axis rotation. 2 is stable and 1 is unstable. All objects have 3-axis in rotation. What about a ball? What about a sphere? Yeah, the MOIs on this are the first and second principal axis are relatively similar. Like it's about the same long ways as it is like IXX, rotating that way is that, and then like IYY. This is the wrong CAD. Here, let me pull up this number. Yeah, IXS and IZZ are very similar. So like a big question that like other people had was like, is this a intermediate axis problem? And it's, the answer to that question is the intermediate axis is the IYY axis is very close to the IZZ axis, so it would not have that effect. Like the immediate the intermediate axis is so close to the first principal axis that it's like it can't be an intermediate axis problem. So that was something that I dropped kind of quickly, was like intermediate axis requires different higher differences between the moments of inertia. IXX, yeah, and so there you go. I mean, that's the axis that it's rolling about, is the shortest, the smallest moment of inertia is IXX. It's going to roll about that one. Well, yeah, of course, it's like 10%, 15% of the other ones. So it's going to be way more prone to roll about that axis, which is why a servo, just to flip it over, would be like dope. It would be like super easy. It's got to apply like no torque. It just flips it itself over. It's over. All right. More comments. Would a pistol grip is, it's enticing. Sure is enticing. The way that I run my controller right now, I was actually laughing at it with my mom. I was watching my cage side cam. I run my controller. I've got forward and backward on my left stick, and then I've got right and left on my right, and it's a lot of very fine input. Like if you look how I'm pinching this, I pinch my right stick. This is, and I don't even, like, this is just how I hold my transmitter. and like I'm kind of thumb on my left stick, and that's what I use. It's just a lot of because like if I do like a very fine input, if I need to turn 90 degrees, it's a very slight move. So that would be my concern with the pistol grip, is that I wouldn't get the same precision out of my motion that I could get out of the sticks. Because the sticks I can be super fine with. And my expo, oh my God. I wish it had more expo. I'm at 150% on my expo. It's dumb. It's dumb. So, yeah, that's why I don't do a pistol grip. It's because I need that. Like if you, yeah, I need that level of fine control in order to accurately drive the robot. A button? That's a really good idea. I actually, my controller, I modified. If you see that red thing, I modified it with a button when I originally designed the robot. So it does have a button on there that I could use. But again, like it's so much. It requires so much more precision than just like smashing that button. This finger tech Thagomizer kit. These, where's Fingermizer? Oh yeah, there we go. Boom. These are funny. I can't wait for more people to have these so they can figure out what a pain it is to drive a Thagomizer. That is, if I get anything out of this, it will be the satisfaction of other people understanding my pain. And that's enough for me. They did tag me in an Instagram post. I did not communicate with them at all on this, you know, or anything like this. This is unique. I would have maybe designed this differently. But hey, it's a Viper kit. So, right? Is that what these are called? Yeah. What TX do I use? I use a DX80. The DX8 is nice because it's got a pot. Hi, Jay. Jay's here. Hi, Jay. Yeah. Would a bigger weapon bot have fixed it? Yeah, so okay, that's a really good question, man. So before Teams, like as I was researching this issue, I went up in weapon power. I went from the key to the disc. The idea is that I could go up in power, or not power, excuse me, I should be more precise. Go up in momentum. And then this blade momentum would be harder to cancel because it's higher. And even when I run it now, the faster I run, the more stable it is. So that helped a little bit. That moving to that helped a little bit. But what has hurt it more is that I have started to drive the robot. As I've gotten better driving the robot, I can be more aggressive about my turning. So yeah, I went up in power, or not power, inertia on my weapon. So it's harder to cancel out, but I'm driving it more aggressively. So it's like, it was kind of a change that I didn't notice because other things messed with it more. So, scaled down Pepe Sylvia or scaled up Chainsaw Kitty? I would rather. Jeez. I would rather. Oh my gosh. I'd rather not. I'd rather not. Is that an answer? I don't know. A scaled down Pepe Sylvia would be pretty freaky because it would weigh like 18 pounds. Do I plan on using a different blade versus verts? I probably should. I probably should. I might have one for finals. The disc should be fine against verts. The only time it hasn't been fine against verts is when it's not spinning, which is a problem. The solution is keep it spinning. The disc has newer geometry than at Teams. At Teams, Zupa snapped it right here, took a big old bite out of this part here, right by the tooth. Yeah, so I increased the bite. I increased this length here to help it out. I increased that length so the tooth is more aggressive. Like you can tell, like this is a shorter tooth. And then I increased the wall thickness on that. And then the other thing that I did is increase the size of the counterweight tooth so that if I am losing weapon on weapon, if I'm losing the weapon on weapon, which means they've gotten deeper in this path than this tooth, now they have to fight because this counterweight tooth is in that arc. Now they have to fight a 2 impactor blade, which requires double, increases my chances of winning that engagement because now I have 2 surfaces to strike against. Idea. Have 2 or 3 possibilities to angle the motor, i.e. motor straight for high robots. Yeah, we'll see if freaking Ram Slam Plan gets into finals. Slam Plan, by the way, is my pick to win October. I'm putting it on the record. Is Business Cat in here? Don't get nervous, buddy. Don't blow my bet. That's my pick to win. I think he'll win. After looking at the field, which I will say this is the thinnest field in my opinion all year. Like the last competition, there were, like, just looking at the roster, there were 10 or 12. It's more like 12 bots that could have conceivably won out of 24 or whatever. I feel like the number that could win this next upcoming event is more like 5. I think it's between like 5 bots. So I think everybody's kind of buckling down for finals. So, I mean, there's good robots that are going, but I definitely feel like the cat has the most. He's got the plan. He's got the plan. Let's go gambling. No, it's not scripted. Oh my gosh, he isn't here. Sorry, don't get nervous, buddy. You got this. Sorry. I'm not trying to freak you out. That has the biggest impact on the optimization. What caused the idea of so? I always feel like the most recent change is the biggest increase in optimization. I have recency bias. Just one more change, bro. This will make it work. Just one more change. Please, just one more change. Actually, no. Let me... The biggest changes have been the shorter tail was a disgusting move up. I mean, it was just like awesome. I don't know if you guys go back and watch like OG Max clips. It was, yeah, watch this. This is right before finals of last year. I had gone from the Cobra 2217 motors to Badass, the Badass 2315s. And this is a long day of setting up gearboxes, so that's why I look like that. But this is like, whoa, I was like, this thing has never moved so fast. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's moving great. Look at that. Look how excited I am. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's never moved so good. And then nowadays it's just like, I mean, let me pull up. Oh my gosh. We were watching old fights of the long tail. This one is ridiculous. We gotta watch an ad. Because I don't have ad block. I know, I'm sorry. Watch how lumbering this robot is. Look at that. Your brain gets used to seeing it now, and then you're like, oh my gosh, it used to suck. I mean, look how slow the rotation is. Uh-oh, my camera just died. All right, hang on. I gotta get like a plug-in thing for when I do streams. Yeah, Pinkvert mentioned. I hate Pinkvert so much. Yeah, but like look how lumbering it is. Okay, so watch this. Like look at this thing's motion. Like look at that turn. And then watch this. Like, it's just not even the same robot, like, in terms of its motion. So, yeah. If I had to pick a change that was, like, the most ridiculous, like, because this is, I was on a 14-inch tail, and that's wheelbase to weapons center. I was on a 14-inch tail, and that was the big boy. And then now I'm all the way down to a 10-inch. I went down from a 14 to an 11, and then now I'm down to a 10, and I might go down to a 9. Because now 10 was as small as I could make it and still have not have the weapon motor get hit. But honestly, I kind of designed these mounts like an idiot. I don't know why I did this. And I went out like that when I should have just like taken these like back and like here. I don't know why I took this line all the way over here. It was really dumb. But if I do this with the mount, then I can take this in because this is at an angle now. 10 inches was as short as I could make it before the weapon hits the motor. But now with this at an angle, I could take conceivably another inch out of it. And all that is, I'm not leaving Thagomizer. It's still a long robot. Like that, it'll never not be a long robot. But it is, it'll still be a long robot, but it's just more optimized to fighting on wood. I mean, that's all this is about is fighting on the wood. That's the goal. That's like, if the primary goal is like a more optimized horizontal, like the secondary goal is like adapting this platform to fight on wood. And like, that's where, like, there was an interview with me and Sean on Friday, and they like asked like what was my take on the project, and Sean noted that it's like a totally different project because I'm developing it on wood. So that's all the thing. That's the the whole secondary goal. Why did I get rid of the towed-in wheels? This robot needed towed-in wheels, 100%. In order to get those center of mass and center rotation, like getting that extra little bit, was really key. This robot needed it. This robot needed more control, and so like it needed to be more stable and then be like in its control style, so and less chaotic. So that is why I abandoned the towed-in wheels, is because I wasn't using, I mean, I was getting milliseconds out of that change, and I was trading a lot of box control. And so that change was just kind of at the hands of having a more dynamic platform and more well-balanced platform. Thank you. I appreciate it. That was a good question. Thank you. Ay. We're not even through any of these. I keep going back. These. Okay, this is something that I want to see. I read this comment. My 3-pound horizontal graffiti. I run a 90-degree gearbox, but my motor is sideways rather than lengthwise, so it takes space opposite my batteries. Shuffler miser win. Get help. There's enough angular momentum in the motor and the gear that when the weapon is disconnected, it drives decently planted vert instead. Oh, wow. That's crazy. So because it's sideways, if this person is in chat, I want to see a video of this, because this person commented on, I seem to remember them commenting on the 90-degree gearbox, saying that they use it in their 3, but I've never seen a picture of their 3 before, or a video of their 3. So in the case of graffiti, it tiles from front to back with the weapon at full speed. I can skate to the tip of the blade by going with. I would wager the lower motors was, but it's not. I've used this to my advantage. At full speed, it's not ideal, but I can hit. So, I want to see a video of this because I want to make sure I'm fully understanding. I really want to see this robot, and I want to see the inside of it, because it's the only other like undercutter that I've heard of using the 90-degree, other than Ciabatta, or not Ciabatta, freaking what's the 30-pound Brazilian horizontal? Which their motor's oriented totally side to side along the wheelbase, which is why I felt like when I saw that at Teams Jubilee. I saw that at Teams, and it was like, you guys are not having the same problem that I'm having, which kind of confirmed that it was the motor torque that was affecting things. I would wager that the lower motor would at least slightly make the bot more stable, but it's not clear. You got that right. Yeah, I have no idea. Maybe the most pertinent factor is how it affects the pitch nose angle of the bot once it's seen here. That once the wedge starts to... Yes, I think the wedge geometry is making self-righting easier after watching the video. Yes, I agree. The bot is able to pitch up enough to lift the wheel off the ground. Horizontal friction force, it's able to roll quickly from here. A lower motor in the center, total center mass. At least that. Yeah, I think it has more to do with the counter torque and how much counter torque is applied, because the counter torque is subject to the position that this is in, and its perpendicularity to the counter torque. Because the counter torque is constant, but its angle relative to the floor is not constant. So that is why this is, and this is still like, this is bleeding edge. I'm not sure. And I communicated that in the video, I think. Intermediate access theorem, I kind of answered that because the MOIs are very similar. The highest two MOIs are too close to induce tennis racket theorem. But this one is not. Okay. What an awesome video. Thank you. Very cool deep dive. Thank you. What kind of I didn't want to add any more parts. Here we go. Lindsay, thank you. Lars, thank you for the math lesson. Go back to school. Okay. So 2 motors to the same output. They can be controlled individually from flip control. Yes, that is yes, that is certainly an idea. Yeah, no new parts. No new parts. PID. Everyone loves PID. Chicken Joe. Wow. Fan. Multiple comments. Motor, could you add some sort of brake to the output? I cannot brake it fast enough. So like if you watch all these clips like at full speed, I cannot react fast enough to conceivably influence the torque that the motor gets. That's the other thing that I was talking to my physics professor about. My former physics teacher. He was like, you know, what sort of, when it starts to roll, what do you do? And it's like, I am along for the ride. Yeah, it's not. I'm not adding any input there. So the idea that I could fly up in the air and then like hit a button and then like automatically self-rate the robot is tough. That would be a tough thing to do. Before I do that, I just go back to a normal flat motor and see what I can get in there that's big and powerful. So it's like, yeah. If you hadn't been burning up sunny skies, do you think you would have switched to the 90-degree gearbox? The 90-degree gearbox is further down the optimization chain than I probably was at the time. The biggest thing that it gets me is torque per gram, which is like, so like I compared it. There were some other horizontals using the APS 6355, and this is with gearing here, and it just wasn't the same. Like this is getting 0.01 Newton meters per gram. The Super 90 gets 0.0068, so it's like 6 times the torque per gram. The 5210 is like 0.0059, which doesn't sound like a huge difference, but like comparing these in terms of like percentage, 0.0059, it's like a 15% increase in torque. And the biggest thing is it decreases the amount of time on the spin up, which decreases the time that the motor's spending at max amp draw. So I think it was further down the optimization chain than I probably was at the time. You know, if I had to talk with myself in November of last year, I would have just said like, go ahead and just put a big outrunner that's low kV on it and just be done with it. It was just I think I would have come to it maybe. I definitely like the 90-degree gearbox. I don't like the fact I didn't like this torque thing, and this torque thing has still just like not been a fun time like figuring out. But now, I mean, it's like figuring this out has transformed the platform again. So it's like, it's kind of like, it's not so much if I like Maximizer now, it's if I'm going to like it the next time I drive it. And I'm hoping that the answer, I like it. I was pretty unhappy with it after June, after that fight where I was just on my head. I mean, that's what motivated this work, was like, I need to figure this out. So I bet I'll like it a lot after finals. I'll say that. I like it a lot now. I think I'm going to like it more after I fight at finals. The thing that I'm kicking myself about right now is the cleats weren't long enough, so I was leaving some torque on the table. Interesting to fight events. I tense up during every fight, so that is regardless. I hate fighting wedges. I don't want to fight a wedge. I didn't like fighting Creature. I didn't like fighting Kaza for the fact that they were just big wedges. Do you have the same trouble riding before the switch? Obviously not the same physics. I wasn't spinning fast enough. I wasn't spinning. The robot could not rotate fast enough to cancel the angular momentums and generate that like horizontal effect. So that's why I didn't kind of experience the same thing. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. Have I thought about automatic reactive turn? Yeah, I have where the blade sinks some energy into the chassis. Yeah, that would be pretty dope. That would be pretty dope, because then I could sap some of that angular momentum into the shot, which would be cool. The problem is that I can deliver more energy than I currently store in my blade. Every time I hit something, my blade stalls. I mean, like, if you watch slow-mo of this fight, like, when I hit him, where's that slow-mo? Give me the slow-mo. Let's not do that. Like this, I'm dumping like 100% of my energy into the opponent. I can deliver much more energy than I have stored. I mean, the blade is stationary there. When I pull away, that's a stopped blade. So it's at this stage, I am energy limited on my attack, which is cool. It's a cool place to be. It means I'm spinning fast enough, and I'm maneuverable enough. Or like this here. I mean, oh shoot, sorry. The blade was spinning there a little bit, but that's because this is a traditional horizontal shot that I'm taking here. This is not the power swing shot, so the bite's just not going to be the same, you know. The bite is just so hard with the swing shot that I'm dumping 100% of the energy. So have I taught is there no way to super chat on normal? I don't know. Do I look like I do this for a living, dude? Two weapon motors. I could have done that. No new parts. The best thing to make is nothing. Even though I had to make a new tail. But I was already going to do that. No new parts. I know. I want to be able to do the I want to be able to do this because this is gross. I want to be able to do this on command because this is just me swinging and missing. See, because I had him on my forks and I meant to swing into him and hit him, but he kind of like backed up on me because like I would have hit him here, but like he was flooring it back and he got back. And then so I missed him and then I did the thing. I want to be able to do this on command because it would be funny. Because if I mean, what are you supposed to do against that, dude? Like, what? You can see it hit equilibrium there. And then the blade catches the ground. And then it turns. And then and then it does this. It turns into an orb. And then it hits. Because as this is happening, the blade is, as it's spinning, the blade is getting back up to speed. And then, yeah, it looks like Linus. Linus kicks foot ball. Oh my God. Yeah. Am I getting? Oh my gosh, it's a film of a CRT. Wow. Yes, this is so real. This and this. Oh shoot. Same picture. Can I go frame by frame? Oh yeah, I can. Oh no, you're good. Have you considered one tire taller than the other? That is an idea. I would have to change a lot in order to make that work in terms of, like, I'd have to change all my wedges, like, for example, because like all my wedges are designed to be flat against the ground. What is the goal with having those angled? I think I saw your comment. Hang on. Let me go back. Yeah, Jaren does suck at driving. Real. That's real. This hate, real. Not joking. Definitely real. Definitely how I feel. Bunger. I think it does matter, but not as much as you would think. I would say that you have an extra force you are dealing with, which is air. Okay, so I've already disliked this comment, but your bot's weapon. So I'm not trying to sound impartial here, but I'll explain why this is. Your bot's weapon and motor. You wouldn't have to change your wedges. I think that's a cool idea. Having one tire taller. What would that achieve? Sorry, that's what I'm asking. What would this achieve? So that it rolls over better? Then I have to deal with the gyroscopic force of the blade when I turn. Like, for example, because I'm throwing it out of a turning plane. So I'd have a gyro force. Flat to the ground, but upside down, you're angled. Oh. Well, if the tires are different, then it would be angled when on the ground. When I'm upside down, the spinner leans. Yeah, that's another thing with like, yeah. Okay. That's another thing with like getting this shaft to be as small as possible. Is that it is leaning when it's upside down, so it is generating a little bit of a gyroscopic force. I like for it to generate more. Like I want to make this angle larger so that I'm getting, yeah. But to do that, I would make this smaller. I wouldn't make my wheels a different size. Oh, I see. But you're talking drop one of the wheels down in the frame. I'm not trying to fire hose you, dog. I see you cooking. Yeah. No, I see you cooking. The gearboxes are already maxed out in the frame. Like, this is I couldn't push the shaft down further. I'd have to do really weird things. Like, because you're talking move this shaft down in the frame on one of the sides so that it's all angled. Yeah, I could do that, or raise the axle on one side. Yeah, I'd have to do really weird stuff to the frame. Because right now, these are just 2 plates that I can water jet and then pocket. But with that, I would have to, like, pillow the frame weird. Or move it up. Yeah, same thing. I still have to pocket the frame or do weird stuff to the frame. No? Because I have to move the shaft up. So to do that, I'd have to make a pillow on one of the sides and probably raise this side too to make it. Yeah, right. Yeah. Max is really simple put together. It is 2 plates, and then sorry, there's some like junk in here. This cat is not great. Like, these bolts are free floating. Yeah, that's what I'm working with on the inside, dude. Like, so like if I had to do that, I'd have to change. Yeah, I'd have to like drop this down and stuff. Plus, then I'd have to make 2 sets of wheels, one for one side and one for the other, and cleats, which are already like mega pain. Yeah, again, like, understand, like, my design motivation with like a lot of things is like, how do I utilize the least amount of parts possible, and how do I have not increased the part count of this robot beyond, like, since I first designed it. Like, these are new, the armor panels are new, and these plates increase the part count, and the 90-degree gearbox increase the part count. Like, I've increased the part count 3 times on this robot, and it's been for a really big deal. And then I decreased it with these hubs, because these hubs, well, sort of, not really, now that I think about it. Yeah, so increasing part count is a big thing. Thank you, Logan. Is a big thing that I kind of try to stay away from. All right, back to this air resistance. Yeah, so, which could change the weight by a few fractions. Yeah, so the forces involved in this are much higher than air resistance. Air resistance is, and this chatter, I shouldn't dislike this chatter, but air is moving, the aerodynamic forces are not nearly as great as the other forces going on. And that's why it's kind of, I don't have, I can't show you the numbers for that. I could show you the numbers for that, but I don't have the numbers for that. And the reason why is we didn't explore that. And we didn't explore that because with how this is moving, it would move like the same. Our conceptual, like when we built our conceptual model of how this is working, it would work the same as a vacuum as it is in real life. Like everything from like the motor torque, like when we're doing our conceptual analysis of this, it's as it is in a vacuum, the same as kind of how it's moving in real life. Like we could take its motion in real life and then put it in a vacuum and it would behave identically. So that's why air resistance is not kind of part of our thinking. So it's twofold. It's operating the way that we're expecting it to. It is moving in the way our conceptual model is using or is predicting. And the second thing is that there are forces that are much greater than the air resistance. So that's why I'm not factoring that in. Why didn't the center of mass also change? It did change, just very slightly. Okay. What is the time to spin up the weapon? The weapon spin up time, if we go to the data, it's about a second and a half, maybe 2 seconds. I've got it timed. It's intentionally slower than it could be. And the reason for that is to lower the amp draw on the motor. So like what I'm changing with that, what you're looking for when you see spin up time is, this is me punching it here, and this is it leveling out. So it's this distance from here. So it's about 2 or 3 seconds. But it's artificially slowed down just to reduce the amp draw on the motor. Just because it's the integral of this space, right, is how much power you're putting into the system. So like, you can either have this really tall and really skinny, so high amp draw, fast, or you can stretch this integral out a little bit, and have a shape, I could foreseeably have a shape like that, where it's, an instant short, a small amp draw, and then it's like, because the integral of this is constant. It's the power that's going into the flywheel or the weapon. People have used it for downforce. I don't think. Yeah. Again. Yeah. Right. There's no sort of control surfaces, and there's no lift generating surfaces that would be going on. Like, that's the other thing too, is nothing is produce a force producing surface. You have to have really, yes, it's creating, minutia air stuff that's going on, but it's nothing that is directed in a specific direction enough to conceivably push the bot one way or another. Reducing part counts or commonality, or making parts mirrored or chiral. Yeah, man, it's really important. Yeah, reducing part count is like, I love reducing part count. Reducing part count is dope. If I have the option of making something or making nothing, nothing is always easier to repair than something. Nothing, you never have to repair nothing. What is max's 0 to 60? That's a good question. It can't hit 60 miles an hour. It can hit. Where is it? 13.3 miles an hour. Wow. And it can conceivably hit 475 RPM. Which, again, I only need 300 RPM to hit a 0.2 second spin time. So this is like, I could probably go down in RPM as well, but I want this speed, this linear speed here. So this is higher than this, but like, oh shoot, I could conceivably do that. Wow, if I wanted to turn in a full second, ooh, wow, 60 RPM, crazy. Hi, Zach. Thank you. Please don't comment this. This makes me uncomfortable. Oh, yeah, here you go. Thank you. This was a good question. Okay. My camera just died for the second time. We've got 40 people in here. That's a lot. I have worked my way through all the comments. But my camera is dead. And I forgot to charge the batteries today. So we're out. So I'm going to have to call it here. Let me pop another one in here. Oh, let me see. Because I just... Oh, I didn't even put a new one on the charger. Let me see what we got. Nope. Oh, never mind. All right, streams back, morons. All right. Is that... Wait, no. Oh, shit. Oh. Streams back, morons. 2-hour live stream's a lot of pressure. Yeah, dude. Thank you. And look, the color temperature changed when it died. So it looks depressing. It looks like I'm in a dark room. I gotta readjust the color temperature. I don't know why it resets when it dies like that. I need to give up and get a permanent plug for it because I hate live streaming and then having the battery die. It's done it twice. It's done it so many times now. I don't want to tether it to anything. All right. We're still... Are we out of questions? Oh, that's Stack. I didn't realize it was Stack. Long time listener. I didn't realize it was Stack. If you're fast enough, you can change your weapon spin direction during directional strikes. Give me. Yeah. Again, my biggest problem with changing input is I am not fast enough. I am not that guy. I am not fast enough to change the input during fights. And also, this is... Oh, sorry. This was another interesting fight that I watched when I researched this. It hit this stable equilibrium here. I think on this fight alone. And I think it's because the floor's not messed up. I think 2 reasons. This is the wider blade, which is the key. And the blade isn't digging in. But look what happens as soon as I hit something. Right? I hit Brandon's wheel here, and it applied the motor torque, and it forced it down. So, okay, so the floor's not messed up. So I'm not digging in. I'm at max RPM. So it is getting the lowest amount of bite. And then it's my thickest blade. So it's just kind of rolling on the blade. So it's just kind of chilling there. So this works with the conceptual model that we had of the system. And then Brandon's wheel rides up on it and changes the plane that it's turning in, and it snaps back to normal, right? And then this is just I don't know how to explain this, dude. This is crazy. This is bananas mode. I don't know how to... what is that? This is again, this is every time I watch this crap, it's like, this is why this video, like, it was like six months of work, because because something else would come up, and it would be like the craziest thing I've ever seen every single time. I think this is. I don't think this is a counter torque one. I think this is a. I think this is two things. I think it's gyroscopic force, and I think it's gyroscopic force because it's reaching a stability point. Like, the biggest thing that was characteristic of the motor torque is that because it was rotating the robot, it was never hitting any sort of like stability. It was just kind of, the motor would apply torque and then it would wrench the full robot around, which is like crazy, so it was aggressive. I wish I could do this on purpose. Look how sick this is. If I could just hit this in the middle of fights, dude, I'd be unstoppable. What is this? What do you even do against that, dude? It's just the blade. That's awesome. Imagine you're a big wheel and that's your opponent. What are you thinking right now? And I'm sad that the Brett zone kind of crapped out here and didn't capture the full thing. I think I ramped the motor down. So, okay, sorry. I said that I think this is two things. Yeah, I think this is two things. I think the first thing, I think it's gyro. And I think the other thing is the wedge geometry. I think the wedge geometry stabilized this position. Which maybe I'll throw this wedge on here in the future and just like see what I can do with it. Maybe that's an October question, is like throw this on here and see if I can replicate this move, because this is crazy. I mean, this is cuckoo caca bananas mode. Like, this is more in line with like how dysfunction moves when it does the thing, because it just like reaches the stability point, and there's no counter torque. This is insanity. Yeah, focus up, lock in. Can you reverse the weapon if something gets wedged in it, like what happened to Silent Spring or that Tyron BattleBots? And no, I can't. No, I can't. And I am deeply concerned that it is a matter of time before something gets sucked in and stuck. The biggest benefit that I have is my belt is on the top, so it can kind of continue to apply torque if something is in there. And then also, like, this distance is fairly small. Like, I don't know. When I've seen stuff get sucked into other bots, oftentimes it's seizing the belt too. And there's no way that if I get something sucked into the blade that it goes into the belt path. So I think that has been my saving grace. I mean, when I engaged with Blue Marlin and sucked this piece in, like, there was no chance that this could like, chat disconnected. Did my internet just drop out? Hello? Am I still live? Yeah, I'm still live. I just got a chat disconnected note. Oh wow, when were you guys gonna tell me that my focusing rectangle is on? Nice. Good job. Thank you guys. Oh. okay, cool. All right. I'm just checking. Why is the wood sparking? The paint's abrasive, man. It's abrasive. So that's a combination of, I think, I think it's the blade. I mean, the blade is shiny. Like when your blade touches the ground at Norwalk, it'll get a shine to it, because the paint is a mild abrasive just because of the metals and the chemicals that they put in there to give it that color. So like, yeah, that's the blade. Oh well, and I think I hit a screw when I went across that. Like that's the other thing, is there's screws in the floor. Like it's not just sitting there, like it's cinched down. Like I think when I blast that right there, I'm blasting a screw head off. Which is funny. Wow. I shook the keys and the focusing rectangle came back. Here. Are you paying attention? Are you paying attention now? Are you focused? Are you locked in? Are you focused? Yes. Okay, so sucking stuff into my weapon. Yeah, I think it's a matter of time before I ingest something and it seizes the blade. Don't you worry. I think it'll happen eventually. And I don't know what the solution for that is. I'm waiting for that day to happen. All I can tell you is that I think my saving grace has been having this channel for the weapon. Alex! Yes, I'm still live. I'm tired, but I'm live and alive. Oh. I'm tired, but people are still asking questions. And it's an AMA. They can ask me anything, and I'll answer it. Yeah, I have a big gap around the blade, and yeah, this is angled so that yeah, and yeah. It's not a big challenge. It's a big challenge to reverse the blade in the middle of a match. There's a lot to think about. And if I ingest something, most likely it's, I don't know. Yeah, I could add that function. Has live weapon shaft caused any problems for you? Oh boy, do I have a video for you. Yes, live weapon shaft is unique. It is a function of using UHMW and wanting a lot of well, it's a function of two things. With undercutters, you get like two options, unless you're there's one 3-pounder that doesn't do it. You either get live shaft and drive, like disconnected drive, where the belt is nice and contained and away from other stuff. You either get like contained drive, or you get dead shaft and drive right next to the weapon. And Buzzkill does it the best, and I'm not going to talk about how he does it. Killajoule does it pretty well too, but they both have drive right next to the weapon, and they both jump through hoops to get that done. So that is, well, so that's the first thing that it's a function of, is I wanted the drive to be disconnected from the weapon for reliability purposes. The second thing is that it's a function of the UHMW tail. The tail flexes so much during an impact, I would snipe my belt every hit. For example, this picture. If I had a belt here, it would be gone instantly. It would be gone. because it would snipe itself, just every hit, because the tail flexes so much. So I think it's not possible. Everything's possible with enough time and effort. Don't get yourself down, but it makes more sense to have disconnected drive when you've got such a flexible chassis. And Huge gets away with it too. But Huge is more, Huge has a rigid sub-assembly inside. Even though the chassis is flexible, it's got a rigid sub-assembly that keeps everything together and keeps the belt from sniping itself. So there's that. And I think I could get away with a rigid sub-assembly. But again, like, I don't know if that would come at the cost of the live shaft. The other thing with the live shaft too is it allows me to choke the support all the way up to the blade. So like this support is right on top of the blade. Like there's very little distance between this, which means my forces, there's not a lot of torque arm on the rest of the shaft, which allows me to run a 5/8 shaft and not something crazy like a 0.75 inch shaft, which is what like Grim Ripper has, a 0.75 inch shaft. He's talked about that publicly. So that's what and that's like the third thing that's like important with UHMW is with all that flex, you gotta support your boy pretty good, and have a lot of meat just to transfer all the force. So, I might add a weapon toggle switch. It's not something I want to think about during a match is reversing my weapon. And conceivably, well, here's the other problem is conceivably the V-belt can't apply enough torque to spit something out. It's too loose. I can grab the motor and hold it stationary, and I can spin the blade, because the V-belt doesn't have to apply that much force to get the weapon up to speed. When I start my blade and it squeals, that's the V-belt slipping as it gets up to speed. It's like a car. It's like a car with a slippery belt. So it intentionally doesn't have enough torque to like spit something out. That's the problem. Intentionally. It intentionally does that. So, a magic shape for those faces that minimizes ingestion. I also haven't ingested. It'll when I find a bridge, I cross it, okay? But I'm not gonna invent bridges for myself just to go about crossing them, If I ingest something at finals, I'm gonna be mad. I'm gonna be mad because the September 23rd chat is gonna be like, "We told you so," and that's fine. I'm fine with that. I'm totally good with that. Sort by newest. Oh, 2 weapon motors. Does your belt smoke on aggressive starts? No. The one time I've seen it smoke, I accidentally left the weapon lock in. So that was, just like a mistake. Oh, I don't want to watch this fight right now. V-belt, so lots of slip, which is cool. It keeps the weapon motor running cooler, because it's not under as much stress. It lets me get away with certain things, and it lets me get away with being aggressive about my impacts. This fight was crazy. I was cage side for this fight. Oh my gosh. Hurricane and Warhard. It's probably different shapes for different size and shaped objects. Yeah, I don't know. Dude, guys, I will cross that bridge when I arrive to it. If I ingest something, you'll be the first to know. And I'll put this clip in the video. Don't worry. Some corner cases where the weapon going in reverse could unstick a high center. It doesn't have enough torque. The belt slips. Here, let me show you. When I was stuck in the wall, which I said I was not going to talk about again tonight, but I'll do it. And I'm not just trying to be a contrarian here. No, I'm trying to understand my logic here. As soon as I go in the wall, look, I don't turn my motor off. You know, I'm still flooring it. Look, see it spinning? You can hear it too. That's it, just free spinning. See it? So it does not have enough torque. Hurricane. Yes. Hurricane. Hurricane. It's so pretty. I wish I got to see it a little bit more up close. Yeah, because I wanted to see those like welded uprights. Yeah, sorry. It was... Oh. I had it muted. Well, I did sound effects, okay? Oh, it's just quiet. I have it turned all the way down.
Using their lifter arm
there. You get the idea.
as hard as ever. Creature using their lifter arm.
This is an incredible pin. This is showing off exactly the kind of control the creature needs.
Oh, that's really loud. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I wasn't looking at the levels. I'm sorry. Hurricane. Yeah. Oh, jeez. Yeah, that I've never seen the box shake as much as when Warhard was in the test box. I'm sorry. I blasted everybody's eardrums. That's my bad. Sorry, we've had a lot of sound issues tonight. Oh, hurricane. I probably shouldn't do the accent. It's probably rude. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Ads, baby. Yeah, I can't believe they won that. Yeah, I needed to get a better look at Hurricane. I feel bad that I didn't. Warhard, I saw it fire up in the test box. It looks like, it literally looks like you just hit a 3-pounder with a ray gun. It's kind of hilarious. Like it's just like the same proportions and everything. It's really cool. It literally looks like it was zapped with a ray gun. Oh, angled wheels. Yeah, I did answer that question. I was, I can answer it again. It's fine. Yeah, I had the angled wheels. I think when I had the longer tail, I needed the angled wheels. But when I went back, when I've gone to the shorter tail, I just don't need. I was trading. The trade-off for the angled wheels was turn time in exchange for controllability, and I was trading too much controllability for too little turn time. That's the equation that I was, that was the logic that I was going through. I can have a lot of controllability, and very little turn time, but with the changes to the tail that made it shorter, I decreased that turn time, so I made it better, but I reduced the controllability, and with the wheels angled, I decreased even more controllability for just a little bit more turn time. So I increased the controllability again. For the trade-off was there. Long story short, the trade-off was there. So there you go. Thank you. Another great question. I know I had answered it already, but it allowed me to explain it again in a different way, and for that I am grateful. Look at Calvin Malcheski throw his bot, without regard, into another robot. How insane. What an amazing... I don't know if it's crazy or amazing. I think it's both. No regard for his own safety, and he just throws himself into the spinner. It is so much fun to watch. This is control bot. This is meta control bot. And Chad knew with the length fork. Oh, this fight was something else. Red Storm is my favorite control bot. Actually, no, Peekaboo probably is after this. Peekaboo after this event is probably my favorite control bot. It got 2 KOs in the first its first 2 fights were KOs. That's good control bot driving. When you can knock out an opponent without a spinner, that's how you know you're locked in. If I was to make a different archetype, I've been catting up a beetle. I don't know. I keep catting beetles and then being like, I want to work on the 12. I keep catting beetles and then I'm like, and then I look at how much money I'm putting into the 12 and I'm like, ain't no way. I catted this before I was Blue Marlin's #1 fan, but don't worry. I've already been Blue Marlin's #1 fan. This just made me even... All Bob did by winning was make me his #1 fan even more. Why is my orbit different, man? My orbit is different than usual. Look how it's, like, weird. Why is my orbit different? Did they change the orbit in Fusion 360? It's orbiting weird. I can't pan in the same way. See how it's rotating it in the plane that I don't want it to? Look, and then it's getting all crazy. What the hell? This has happened to all my models. Display. Am I going crazy? Is anyone else going bonkers because of the Fusion 360? MBB changes orbits. MBB changes orbit center. What is MBB? Am I crazy? Am I going crazy? It's not what I want. Middle click twice. No, that's still, look how it's like rolling weird. I can't describe it. I can't describe how this is different, but it's way different. See how every time, it's like every time I rotate, the rotation point changes. Instead of being constant to the model. See that? The rotation point is constant to where I'm looking at instead of being constant to the model. On the point that I want to rotate around. Oh my god. I'm going to rotate around in my chair, dude. Anyways, I did CAD this beetle because I love nautiloids. Nautiloids, my beloved. I love Phenomenon. I love Boreon. You're orbiting around your... yeah, the middle mouse button on the center of the model versus the model. Yeah, I know. I want it to go back. Yeah, I know. It's orbiting around that green dot instead of the model. And it looks weird. Yeah. Well, do you see that green dot? That green dot just goes anywhere at once instead of being locked to the model center. Dude, this live stream has gone off the rails. This was supposed to be freaking educational. And now it's just teaching Jake how to use a computer. It's crazy. It's crazy talk. See, even with this one, it's just, it selects wherever it wants to be. Is it my preferences? Is there someone who knows how to use a computer in chat? Flow rate. Oh, no. These are, oh, yeah. Shift middle mouse button sets the orbit center. Oh. Yeah, it sets it different every time I do it. Yeah, see how it's setting it different? Because I'm holding shift. I have to hold shift to orbit. 40 people in here, and this is the most people. This has been our biggest live stream so far, and it's completely off the rails at this point. So ooh. Oh, this is electronics. Oh, that makes me sad. I thought there was a dark mode. Damn it. I got excited there. Enable hang detection. What is hang detection? We gonna hang out? As soon as I figure out how to use a computer, this is gonna be easier. Oh, that's for, yeah, no. I want that. That's not what I thought it was. No, I've changed somehow the way that my thing orbits, and it's different in every model. It's really frustrating. Do you need constrained orbit instead of free orbit? No, it's just I can't describe the problem, dude. It's just it's orbiting differently, man. I don't know what else to say. Put me in the padded room. It's orbiting differently, okay? This is not how it used to orbit. See, because it's like flipping up on its side. It's just like real life. It's completely out of control. It's just like real life. Wow. Switch to on shape. Oh my God. Why don't you get on my shape? On shape. I just want to be able to rotate in the same. I've changed some settings somewhere. Hang on, I think someone just DM'd me. Look how nice he is. $23? Oh my God. You get a discount code for this?
Hi, my name is Todd McLeod. I know I look like I might be...
Dude, I'm not gonna... Matt sent me that. Wait, Will Bales. Wait, constrained. Bottom row, swap to the other thing. Constrained orbit. No, Mr. Bales. Mr. Bales. Oh my God. Wait, that was it. No, wait. That was it. Wait, it changed it. No, because that changed it. Now it's back to the same. Okay, my camera just died. I'm killing this stream because this is gone. How did that change it? Will Bales, answer yourself. What the hell? How did you change that? Because I didn't change anything, dude. That fixed it. All right, I'm freaking ending this stream. All right, my camera's dead. Thank you guys. I hope this was a good stream. I hope I answered some of your questions. I don't know what I did to change that. I'm literally gonna watch back in the VOD because I don't know what I hit. I read Will Bell's comment and then it was different. What? Oh my God. All right. I'm playing the outro music. Oh my gosh. We're streaming from Ohio, so we have to watch a freaking political ad. Oh. I can't believe how many people are still in here. Ridiculous. Go to bed. It's 10 o'clock. It's past your bedtime.